Welcome to Shadow of History, mysterious, dark, and untold stories from world history. Today, we delve into one of the most bizarre and enduring tales of survival and assassination, the story of Grigory Rasputin, the Russian mystic who seemingly refused to die. Despite multiple assassination attempts, Rasputin's life and death are surrounded by myths and mystery, and the events leading up to his assassination in 1916 have become the stuff of legend. But how much of the story is true, and what really happened the night Rasputin died? Let's unravel the facts, the myths, and the strange reality behind one of the most infamous figures in Russian history. Grigory Yefimovich Rasputin was a man of mystery and contradictions. Born in 1869 in Siberia, he came from humble beginnings, but his rise to prominence was nothing short of extraordinary. By the early 20th century, Rasputin had become a confidant of Tsar Nicholas II and his wife, Tsarina Alexandra. He was known for his supposed healing abilities, especially his ability to alleviate the symptoms of the royal couple's son, Alexei, who suffered from hemophilia. This seemingly miraculous ability earned him the trust and favor of the royal family, despite his unorthodox behavior and controversial reputation. Rasputin's influence over the Russian royal family, particularly Tsarina Alexandra, made him many enemies, both within the Russian aristocracy and among the general public. His presence at court and his ability to sway the royal family's decisions led to growing resentment. In a time of political unrest, when Russia was already struggling with World War I and internal turmoil, Rasputin became a symbol of the perceived decadence and incompetence of the monarchy. His power and influence made him a target, and it wasn't long before rumors of his corruption, debauchery, and supposed manipulations began to spread. In 1916, a group of Russian nobles, frustrated by Rasputin's control over the royal family and eager to restore the monarchy's reputation, decided that Rasputin had to be eliminated. However, as strange as it sounds, Rasputin seemed to possess an uncanny ability to survive multiple assassination attempts, leading to the creation of an almost mythical story of his death. The most famous account of Rasputin's assassination centers around the events of December 30th, 1916. On that night, Rasputin was invited to the residence of Prince Felix Yusupov, one of the men behind the plot to kill him. According to the legend, Rasputin was lured to the palace under the pretense of meeting Yusupov's wife. But in reality, a group of nobles, including Yusupov himself, had planned to poison him. The plot began with the poisoning of Rasputin's favorite food, cakes and wine laced with cyanide. Yusupov and his accomplices, believing the poison would quickly kill Rasputin, were astonished when he appeared unaffected after consuming the tainted food. He continued to eat and drink without showing any signs of distress, leading some to speculate that Rasputin had a supernatural resistance to poison. Frustrated, Yusupov is said to have shot Rasputin multiple times. But to their astonishment, Rasputin survived again, reportedly attempting to flee the scene despite having been shot. According to some accounts, Rasputin even managed to stagger into the palace courtyard before being shot again and finally dying. The scene was so surreal that it has fueled numerous myths and conspiracy theories about Rasputin's refusal to die. Some stories even claim that he was shot multiple times and yet managed to stand up, continue to move, and attempt to escape before being killed. These dramatic accounts have made Rasputin's assassination one of the most bizarre in history. But how much of this is true? Modern investigations into Rasputin's death suggest that the reality was more mundane, although still highly unusual. Autopsies performed after his death indicated that Rasputin died from gunshot wounds, and evidence suggests that the cyanide poisoning likely did not work as intended because the dosage was too low. The poison might have been ineffective, or Rasputin may have had a tolerance to it, but the gunshots were ultimately what killed him. The multiple accounts of Rasputin surviving his poisoning and continuing to fight, although dramatic, are more likely the result of confusion and exaggerated storytelling. However, the legend of Rasputin's invulnerability persists, even in modern retellings. While the exact details of Rasputin's death remain unclear, one thing is certain: the myths surrounding his assassination have contributed to his larger-than-life legacy. He became a symbol of the mysterious and dangerous allure of the Russian imperial court, embodying the decadence, mysticism, and intrigue that characterized the waning days of the Romanov dynasty. His death, like his life, was shrouded in rumor and conspiracy. Rasputin's impact on Russian history cannot be understated. He was a man who wielded extraordinary influence over the Tsar and his family, despite his questionable behavior and the constant rumors surrounding his character. His relationship with Tsarina Alexandra, in particular, made him a target of political rivals. His supposed ability to heal her son's hemophilia was a source of both admiration and suspicion, and it led many to believe that he had undue power over the Russian monarchy. In the years following his death, Rasputin's reputation only grew, with conspiracy theories and legends springing up around his figure. Some believe that Rasputin's influence over the royal family contributed to the downfall of the Romanovs, and it's not hard to see why. The growing discontent with the Tsar and his government, combined with the presence of a mystic in the court, provided fertile ground for revolutionary sentiments. The Russian Revolution of 1917, just a year after Rasputin's death, led to the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II and the eventual execution of the royal family. Rasputin's death and the myths surrounding it were part of a larger narrative of corruption, decadence, and the fall of the Russian Empire. After Rasputin's assassination, his reputation continued to grow. His life was surrounded by mystery, and his death added fuel to the fire. In the years following his death, Rasputin became the subject of novels, plays, and films. His mystique only increased as the stories of his survival and resilience took on a life of their own. His assassination was not just an act of political intrigue, it became a symbol of the collapse of the old world order and the rise of new revolutionary forces. While many aspects of Rasputin's life and death are clouded in myth and legend, his influence on Russian history remains undeniable. He was a man who, despite his humble beginnings, rose to extraordinary heights of power and influence, only to be brought down by those who feared his hold over the royal family. His assassination and the myths that grew around it continue to captivate us today, as we look back at a time when mysticism, politics, and the fate of an empire collided in one man's life. Thank you for joining us as we uncovered the truth behind the death of Rasputin and the myths surrounding his assassination. If you found this story as intriguing as we did, make sure to subscribe to Shadow of History for more mysterious, dark, and untold stories from the past. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Until next time, stay curious and continue uncovering the untold stories that have shaped our world.